everybody, and welcome back to the Disney Drama Podcast. This is episode number 10, and that's Katie.
And that's Brianna, and we're two girls that are always dizzy, and we love to talk about drama.
Roll the intro.
Here it is.
This is the intro, everybody.
This is the intro.
Okay, today's episode, we're going to do a quick recap of our lives, and then we are going to get into the true crime segment, and today we are talking about the Deadpool killer, and his name is Wade Wilson, and we are going to get into all of him, but first, a little update on us. Katie.
I got a new car!
Woo!
Yay!
Tell them.
Oh, I got a 2023 Mazda 3.
Nice.
Well, it's technically called a Mazda 3, but whatever.
That's too many.
I knows it, but that's what it's called.
Fun.
Mm-hmm.
She was going to go get a Kia, but she drove a rental car of a Mazda a while back, and then she fell in love with it, and she found one online, and she was like, uh-oh, I'm going to go get that one. I must.
And I didn't get that one. I got a different one, but we won't get into the juicy details of that.
That's okay. It's a nice car. It's a very nice car.
It's very nice. Brand new.
And her credit score was 8 trillion billion, so
Yeah.
that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
With me, my life update is I think I'm going to go to college. I would be starting in December to become an esthetician, which is cool. If you don't know what an esthetician is, they just do like waxes, facials, like brow lamination. They do your lashes, a whole bunch of stuff. They do makeup, like wedding makeup, and a bunch of cool stuff. So hopefully I'll be done in time for Halloween's next year. I can be a makeup artist there. So that'd be fun. Yeah. Jinx.
I have an Artemis smear on my glasses, so I'm trying to get that off with your shirt.
Sure. Okay, so now that the boring stuff is out of the way, like we promised in our last episode, we are going to give true crime segments of each episode of October.
Yay!
And if we like it enough, we might just make it like a permanent thing that we do on our podcast. Because like all we normally do is just talk about whatever. But if we do true crime, it could be fun.
Yeah.
And we're going to call this segment Dizzy Crime.
Yay! Dizzy Crime.
And the way we're going to set it up is one of us is going to do research on a true crime segment, like on a true crime story or something, and we're going to tell it to the other one, and the other one doesn't know anything about it.
Can you guess who's going first?
I'm going to be delivering the info and the facts, and Katie is going to be giving you her reaction, because she doesn't know a whole lot about this case.
No, I do not. I tried researching it, and I fell asleep.
So here is my notebook with all of my information in it. I'm going to be referring to my notes.
And let me get comfy.
Okay, are you ready?
I'm so ready.
Are you guys ready? Okay. So, we're going to be talking about the Deadpool killer, like I said. The reason why he's called the Deadpool killer is because his name is Wade Wilson, which is the Deadpool character in the Marvel series.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Okay, so, I don't even know how to start this. Let's start with some background information on the people involved, shall we?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Let's get into them.
Okay, so, his backstory is that...
Oh, his backstory.
Yeah.
Mm.
So he has always had, like, a drug addiction problem. Like, in high school, he would, like, smoke weed every morning with a couple of people. And, like, that's kind of how it started. He ended up getting suspended from school because he was caught smoking weed in the bathroom. And he lit, like, a paper towel roll on fire. So he got suspended for that. But then it, like, later developed into a more serious drug addiction with, like, methamphetamines and cocaine and a whole bunch of other stuff. They claim that he had abandonment issues. I couldn't find much about that other than the fact that he was adopted as a child. And I don't know any information about, like, his birth parents. I only know about his adopted parents. Okay.
But he was adopted?
Yeah.
Okay.
His classmates described him as troubled, like just a troubled kid. And he was, like, always kind of just getting into stuff that would get him into trouble. Like, he would do random stuff, like just break into cars, and even if he didn't gain anything from it, he would just do it just for, like, the thrill of it.
So he has, like, all the stereotypes of a killer.
Yeah, and supposedly he had some brain damage, but I think they did some scans during the trial, and it wasn't, like, proven that that would be a reason to cause him to be like this, because if you don't know, like, a lot of people have frontal lobe damage that,
What's that?
Like, your frontal lobe is damaged from, like, an incident, like brain trauma. You usually have some sort of brain damage. Not usually, but, like, in a lot of cases, there's brain damage with these, like, serial killers or...
And that causes them to have
crimes.
the, like, stereotypical...
That's what they're saying, is, like, that's if you have brain damage, you're more likely to commit a violent crime. That's just like the linked whatever.
So then were they, like, during the trial, this is probably jumping ahead, but, like, during the trial for the brain scans, were they trying to rule him as,
like
what is
insane,
it? Yeah.
insane pleading.
Insanity?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think they were attempting to do that. And I'll get into that more later, like with what his defense attorney was saying.
Okay.
So I think that was a possibility they were trying to rule. But then, like, the classmates described his parents, like his adoptive parents, as super friendly, church-going people who meant well and wanted better for him. Like,
Still the stereotypical, like, the parents are...
usually the parents
are,
do something.
Yeah. They're neglectful.
Yeah.
Okay. So he was raised correctly and just... Okay.
Yeah, like, they always wanted him to do better. They wanted him to succeed. They had a nice home in the suburbs. They had expensive cars, but they weren't only caring about, like, the, what's that called? Material items. But they also had, like, a good mindset. But he still didn't reflect the way that they wanted him to be necessarily, because there was one thing that came out from one of his classmates that he stole his parents' car and disappeared for 3 days. And they were like, why would you why would you do that? So that's, like, his, like, background information there. He did date a girl that said he was never violent and she never felt unsafe with him in high school. The girl that would smoke weed with him out in the woods before school always said that, like, she felt safe with him. But just nothing really uneasy from any of his classmates.
So he was, like, fine in high school? And then...
Yeah, other than he just had, like, troublesome spurts where he would just, like, commit,
like,
small crimes.
Yeah.
Okay, so then in February of 2019, so the crimes that he's being, like, charged for, the murders, happened in 2019.
Okay.
This was before those incidents. So he had an ex-girlfriend. Her name is Kelly Matthews. She claimed he was never violent with her until he allegedly attempted to kill her.
That's a big jump.
Yeah. So on February 18th of 2019, she claimed that he choked her in a car about 2 or 3 times. And she says that he pushed her on the floorboard of the car, cut off her clothes with a knife, and told her to stay down there until he put her back into the car and allegedly sexually assaulted her.
So he just, like,
out of nowhere.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Like, flipped a switch.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And then, so this is a quote from Kelly Matthews that said, "At some point he bit my face and bit me in the chin." She also claimed that he gagged her, tied a shirt around her face, and tied her hands and feet together with a used garbage bag that was inside the car. All in this assault.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And this happened a couple months before the murders.
And do you know what flipped that switch, or
No?
Nobody does. It just
not
happened?
that I found out.
Okay.
She did report the alleged assault to the police, but they didn't do much. They didn't do anything really. Because she said that the detective told her, quote, "You were into that kind of thing, so we can't really do anything about it."
What?
Mm-hmm.
Into that kind of thing?
Yeah. So I'm assuming that she was maybe into an aggressive type of, like, foreplay or something.
Right, but that's not foreplay.
Right. And there's definitely a difference between, some foreplay or role play or anything like that and rape. Because you can still get raped or sexually assaulted in a relationship.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So she claims, this is his ex-girlfriend, she claims that those women might still be alive if the police would have done their job. Because she reported it, and if he would have been locked up, because she said she would have testified, her friends and family would have testified, he would have been locked up for those crimes, maybe those 2 women would still be alive.
Right. Yeah.
So that's the background on him. Now the background on the victims. So one of the victims, her name is Christine Melton. She was a waitress who was helping take care of her mother who was starting to show signs of Alzheimer's. It said that they were best friends and they drank coffee every morning together.
Her and her mom?
Yep.
Okay.
Her brother claims that she was a fun-loving and super lighthearted person. She was super kind and non-judgmental. And what's super sad is since her mom has Alzheimer's, she still hasn't processed that her daughter has died.
Aww.
And she claims that she is still alive and well and married.
Aww.
So she won't admit, she doesn't understand that her daughter died, that her daughter got murdered.
That's so sad.
Yeah. The other victim Diane Ruiz, I believe is how you say her name. I might be butchering that, and I'm sorry. She was engaged to be married, and she was a mother of 2 sons. Her coworkers said that she never missed a shift at work for 5 years, and that's what actually, like, called them to report her missing, is that she missed a shift. So, like, she had been so consistent with showing up to work that her not being there was weird. Her coworkers said Diane was the heartbeat of the bar, because she was a bartender.
Oh.
And she always had everyone's back. Her personality was really magnifying, and she had a really loud laugh that you could hear a mile away. Okay, so now that we have a little bit of their backstory covered, now we're going to get into the crime and what happened. I'm just going to go through my notes here.
Okay.
So he killed 2 women in 2019. It was in October of 2019.
And when did that first assault happen?
February.
To his ex? Okay.
Yeah. So that was like...
Of 2019?
Yeah.
Okay.
That was a previous ex. There's another ex I'm going to mention. It's his current ex-girlfriend that he was with during the time of these. It's a different woman.
Okay.
Okay. So...
That was just when, like, the first sign of craziness happened.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the 2 women got murdered on the same day. So he met the first victim, Christine, at a bar. And,
She was the bartender?
No.
Oh.
She was just there having a good time.
Okay.
She was out partying, and they left. It was her and I believe her coworker were out together.
Okay.
And so they met Wade and this other guy, and Wade's girlfriend was also there, but the other guy they were with, Christine and her coworker, they all left and they went back to the other guy's house. So the other guy had like a bunch of drugs and everything, and he gave them to Wade Wilson and Christine. And Wilson said that he didn't know what drugs they were. It wasn't cocaine, he knows that. But it was a bunch of other drugs. And he said, oh, he must have given me like bath salts or something. That's what he said on the phone call that he shared while he was in jail with his ex-girlfriend. So he was like, I don't know what drugs they were, but I was just crazy off the drugs. So it's been like confirmed, I believe, that Wilson and Christine had sex while they were at that other guy's house. But then they left. They went back to her house.
Okay. Did Christine do any of the drugs? Or just Wade?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
I'm not positive. They went back to her house, and she fell asleep. And in her sleep, he strangled her. So he strangled her in her sleep, and she had injuries indicating that she woke up and tried defending herself. And he claimed that it was because he was on all of these drugs, and he doesn't know what happened, but the drugs got to him, and he killed her.
Okay, but he was on all those drugs before in high school, and he didn't do shit on them.
Yeah, well, he doesn't know what drugs he got from that guy. I believe that guy's name is Justin. He doesn't know what drugs that Justin gave him.
Okay.
He just took whatever concoction he had, and allegedly that's what caused him to commit the violent crime.
Okay.
So they found her body at her house because her car was found in Fort Myers. So her car was not with her body.
Why? What? How does that doesn't make any sense.
No, it doesn't. Until I tell you that it's because he took her car. So he went to his ex-girlfriend, his current ex-girlfriend, but his girlfriend at the time.
Okay.
Went to her work, and he tried to pull her into the car, and she resisted. Wilson then punched, slapped, and choked her. And she testified that Wilson then dragged her upstairs, like the upstairs of the business that she worked at,
Okay.
and held her against the wall by her throat. But when he hit her again, he was freaked out by all the blood and ran. But that's how they found her car, I believe.
So her body was still at the crime scene?
Yeah. Like the Christine, the first victim?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she was still in bed. Like, that's where she stayed where he killed her.
Okay, but they went back to her house.
Mm-hmm, because they
Okay.
found her car.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that was on the 8th, I believe, is when they found her body. So it was like the next day that they found her body. Because she
Okay.
was killed the 7th.
Okay.
So then, after he flees the scene of, like, the assault against his girlfriend at the time...
So he was gonna kill his girlfriend, but he didn't due to the amount of blood that he saw?
He said he wasn't gonna kill her. I listened to the phone call that they shared, like, while he's in jail, because, like, he still calls her, and he's like, baby, 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 talk to me. And she was like, you told me you were gonna kill me. And he was like, no, I just said that to shut you up. I was trying to tell you what happened. And, like, in the phone call, he admits to killing these women. He was like, I was just trying to tell you what happened. I wasn't going to kill you. And she was like, but you hit me and all this stuff. And he was like, well, no, that's just because you weren't listening to me. I was just trying to make you listen to me. And so he was like, oh, I was taking it out on you because you weren't listening, but I was trying to tell you what just happened.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So then he leaves there and he's driving. And that is where the second victim, Diane Ruiz, I think is how you say your name. Please let me know if I'm saying it wrong. That's where she comes into play.
Is he still driving her car?
I'm not sure whose car he's in now.
Okay.
Might be. I don't know. Diane was walking to work, as she's the bartender. She was walking to work. She hadn't missed a day in 5 years. That's where she was heading.
Okay.
So he pulls up and he asks her for directions on how to get to the school that was nearby.
Okay.
And so that was his ploy to get her into the car. And this was around 10 a.m.
Okay.
Okay, of the same day he murdered the first victim, Christine.
What time did he murder Christine?
It was in her sleep, so...
Okay, so he like killed one at night, stayed awake, and then...
I'm not sure he was seen, at his then girlfriend's place of employment around like 8:15, I want to say.
Okay.
So, I don't know, like, at what point he murdered the first victim and then left. I'm not sure. So he said that he asked her for directions. And then when she tried getting out, he started beating her, and then he choked her. And then he pushed her out of the car. Okay? He ran her over at least 10 times with the vehicle.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
At 10 a.m.?
Yeah. Yeah. While she was alive. She was alive, and he ran her over.
Oh my God.
At least 10 times with the car he was driving.
Oh my God.
Yeah. The way that they found Diane's body is her coworkers called because they were like, hey, she's not here, something's wrong. And 3 days later, her body was found in a field behind a Sam's Club.
3 days later?
Mm-hmm.
But he was running over the body at 10 a.m.?
Yeah.
And nobody saw that?
I don't know. I don't know if it was like in some like off-trail area. I don't know.
That's a little sketchy.
Yeah. So that's how the murders happened. And that's how he, like, met the women. So the first victim, Christine, she was just at a bar having a good time. Mm-hmm. And then went home with them. And then the second one was just walking to work. Diane was just walking to work like she normally does. Living her best life, going to work. And then, I don't know.
But she got in the car?
Mm-hmm.
That part doesn't add up. Unless he Ted Bundy'd his way.
He's an attractive male. So, by the time they found Diane's body, he was already arrested. He was arrested on October 8th.
Due to the first crime? Okay.
Because he was on the phone with his dad and he shared the gruesome details of his crimes with his dad. And his dad called the police and he was like, hey, my son just admitted to me that he killed these 2 women.
What a good dad.
Yeah. But he didn't get arrested for the suspicion of murder. That's not what he got arrested for.
What did he get arrested for?
He got arrested for burglary, larceny, burglary. He got arrested for burglary, larceny, and damaged property and battery.
Okay, but wait.
Okay.
Melissa.
Yeah, his then girlfriend. Mm-hmm.
Was
the one that he assaulted at her workplace.
Took her upstairs. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
so he got arrested due to that, like, assault.
And on top of other charges, because they found him in, like, an abandoned house that he had broken the window to get into.
Okay.
So the police confirmed that he was a person of interest in the deaths, but they couldn't charge him with them because, like, you can't just be like, oh, here you go, I think you killed these people, you know?
Yeah, you need evidence.
Right. Okay, so it wasn't until November 19th of 2019 that he was actually indicted on 2 counts of first-degree murder. So it took over a month for them to actually say, guess what you did? And we know it. Because he tried denying it.
But his dad called and was like, my son confessed to killing this girl over the phone.
Right. But that's like hearsay. You can't prove that. I could call and be like, oh, guess what? Someone just admitted this to me. Go arrest them right now. Go charge them with murder. You know? And it doesn't even have to necessarily be true.
Yeah, but it shouldn't have took them a month to...
Well, they had to, like, get evidence and, like, reasoning as to why, like, motive. They had to, like, actually get hard evidence to pin the murders against him. You can't just charge people with murder just because you think so.
Yeah, but, like, he killed 2 girls in not even 24 hours.
Yeah.
And they were just letting him walk free for a
No,
month?
he was in jail.
Oh, okay.
He was in jail for the other charges.
Oh, yeah.
It just wasn't
right.
until November 19th that he actually got indicted of the first-degree murder charges. He denied killing them both. And he said, quote, that Melton, Christine, the first victim, was alive and well when he left. And then Diane asked him for a ride to the bus stop, and he dropped her off. So he claimed he did not murder these 2 women. And when he was, like, asked if he did, he said, absolutely not. And he said, quote, I am not a monster. I am not a saint either by any means. I've made bad decisions in the past. Of course, everybody has. So he was denying it. Even though he called and told his dad, hey, guess what I just did, silly goose.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And I'm not sure, I don't know when the phone call that I listened to took place of him when he was talking to his ex-girlfriend while he was in jail. And he admitted to killing them. Mm-hmm. I don't know the date that took place, but, like, he also admitted it then. Okay, so now fast forward, we're at his trial, which happened this year. So on June 12th of this year, the jury came back with guilty verdicts on all charges, including the 2 counts of first-degree murder.
Good.
So he's, like, they found him guilty of the charges.
Good, as they should.
Mm-hmm. His defense attorney tried saying that his life should be spared, so they were trying to get him to not have the death penalty, saying his life should be spared, saying that his mental state wasn't an excuse but an explanation of his actions. The defense attorney then pointed out that the swastika and the Joker-esque tattoos that he has on his face, that he got after he committed the murders, are an example of his diseased mind. So this guy's heavily tattooed and, like, was before the murders took place, heavily tattooed. But since the murders, he got a swastika, like, on his upper cheek and has, like, the Joker-type smile, like, almost like a skeleton smile. Tattooed around his mouth.
Okay.
And so the defense attorney was like, well, look at him. No sane person is going to get these tattoos, which agreed, if you're getting a swastika tattoo, you're literally insane.
Exactly. Flashback to whatever episode we talked about tattoos, and you said, yeah.
If you have a swastika tattooed on your forehead, yeah. So they tried saying, like, you know, look at him. He looks crazy. He's not. He can't be given the death penalty. He's insane, you know? But despite that attempt, on June 25th, the jury came back after 90 minutes of, like, deliberating. Is that what it's called?
I think so.
Voting 9-3 in favor of death penalty as punishment for killing Christine Melton.
What about the other one?
Melton. And then they came back with a 10-2 vote for Diane.
What was wrong with the one person?
I don't know. They're like, not that one. But maybe because it seems like Diane's murder was much more gruesome because he drove over her body.
Multiple times, yeah.
And with Christine, he killed her in her sleep. Because that's what they were trying to say, that since Christine was asleep, that she didn't feel the pain, or he wasn't, like, inflicting as much pain as he could if she were awake, and so he wasn't getting off on that aspect. But with the evidence coming back that she struggled, like, she woke up and struggled.
Like, wasn't there signs of struggle?
Yeah. So, I don't know, maybe just because that one person thought that Diane's death was more gruesome. Because they said that they agreed that his actions were heinous?
I think so.
His actions were heinous, atrocious, or cruel.
No.
Heinous. Okay. The jury agreed that Wilson's acts were heinous, atrocious, or cruel. And the reason that, because in every state but 2, you have to have, like, the whole jury has to agree for death penalty. If one person says no, then no death penalty.
Okay.
But in 2023, Florida joined Alabama as the only states where jurors don't have to all have the unanimous vote.
Okay. Just the majority does?
It has to be at least 8 in favor.
Oh.
So as long as 8 of the jurors are like, yeah, death penalty is good, then it's fine. But if it were like 7, then it wouldn't work. There's only 2 states where it doesn't have to be unanimous. Unanimous?
Unanimous?
Unanimous? Unanimous? Unanimous. Sorry. Unanimous? Unanimous. Unanimous? Stop. Unanimous? Unanimous. Okay. Unanimous. Unanimous. What did I say? Unanimous?
Don't start thinking about what you said. You're going to say it.
I don't even know anymore.
Unanimous.
Unanimous.
Is that right?
Unanimous.
Unanimous? That's what I said.
Fuck. Hey.
Unanimous. 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 Jesus. Unanimous. Unanimous? It's hot in here. Unanimous.
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 Unanimous. He's saying it both ways, but at the same time.
Unanimous. Unanimous.
You guys know what I mean. Unanimous. Unanimous. Jesus. It's spelled unanimous. 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 I've been trying to say this damn word for... Unanimous. 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 Anyway. You guys know what I mean. Unanimous. Jesus. Okay, so that's what happened. Okay. So he is charged with the murders. He is facing death penalty. He is going to die on death row. But the reason why I want to talk about this case specifically is because they're saying that it's a nowadays Ted Bundy. Because let me put this away. Oh, no,
That's interesting.
So, because Ted Bundy had fans, crazed fans that were like in love with him, infatuated with him, and would send him love letters and stuff. Well, they're doing the same thing with this guy. Because he's like an attractive male. People are like obsessed with him, forgetting the fact that he murdered these women and assaulted these other women. Like, they're just like, oh no, he's fine. Look at him. No, he's hot. He's okay. We'll let him out. Let's let him out.
What?
Yeah. To the point of where his fans started online petitions and fundraisers to get Wilson a good defense attorney, like a good defense team. And as of September 6th, that's the most recent, number I could find. They raised more than $86,000 for him.
What?
Yeah.
For a murderer.
Yeah.
That's sentenced to death.
Yep.
All because he is an attractive male?
Yep. Because I was seeing on, TikTok. I was seeing on TikTok that people were, commenting on videos of him saying, free Wade, free him. Stop.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
He killed 2 women,
Mm-hmm.
sexually assaulted, physically assaulted his
2 of his ex-girlfriends.
2 of his ex-girlfriends.
Right.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
No,
I know.
But with the whole Ted Bundy thing, with them, him being, the same kind of craze as Ted Bundy was, I guess that would make sense as to why, the one victim got in the car.
Diane.
Because Diane. Because with Ted Bundy, that was the thing, too. He was so charming and so, softly spoken that, people were willing to help and willing to get in his car and go home with him and stuff.
Yeah, didn't see him as a threat.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But that's crazy that people are trying to get him out of jail,
Yeah.
out of a death sentence. All
Yeah, they're
because
trying to do, appeals and stuff.
all because he's hot.
Yeah.
That's nuts.
Sending him, love letters and just, all of this crazy stuff.
That's crazy.
Yeah. $86,000 raised for him.
That's crazy.
I know.
What is that going to do?
I don't know. I don't even think that you're allowed to appeal. Well, I don't know. I'm not sure how it works, but, he is sentenced correctly. He should have the death penalty. He murdered these 2 women.
Right.
And committed all these other crimes as well.
Right.
But it's crazy to me that he, assaulted his first ex I talked about, where he, assaulted her in the car.
Mm-hmm.
And she reported it, and the cops did nothing about it. You know,
And
she
then they said, well, you're into this.
Yeah.
That doesn't, no.
Right.
That's not a thing.
That doesn't justify, no matter what you're into, that doesn't justify being assaulted by somebody.
Exactly.
Right. And so it does make you think, like, maybe if they would have taken correct actions, would he have not committed these murders?
Right.
But also, I don't, like, him committing that assault against her wouldn't get him life
Right.
in prison. So he would have eventually gotten out.
Right.
And so maybe it was only, like, if that would have happened, it would have been a buffer for him. But I feel like if he would have gotten out at that time, he would have come out and committed murder as well.
Yeah, and I feel like if that did happen and he got out, I feel like he would have went for her.
Yeah. Well, and you can look up the court videos of him being, like, told his plea, like, or him being told that he has the death sentence now. He's no remorse, no reaction, doesn't care, not one bit, like, at all. Okay, I forgot to mention that I wanted to bring up what the victim's family said in court.
Okay.
So during the trial, one of Diane's sons, who was 19 at the time of her murder, he said that he had just made the high school marching band, and she was so excited to watch his debut. And then he said, quote, "I never got to see her in the crowd," like while he was performing, because she was murdered.
That's so sad.
And he said, "My mom will never get to see me get married."
That's so sad.
And then the other victim, Christine, her cousin said, quote, "She will never experience motherhood, the role she was born to play."
That's so sad.
I know it. Very sad. Very heartbreaking.
So heartbreaking.
Just these two innocent women.
Right. And
Just
then there's
out.
other women that are trying to get him out of
Right.
jail. That's nuts.
Right.
That's nuts. A mother was murdered.
Yep.
And
Just a woman out having a good time.
yeah,
Yep.
that was taking care of her mother, and now her mother doesn't know that she's dead.
Yep.
Can't even accept it.
Right.
Can't even fathom it.
No. Like, these people that are sitting here, like, advocating for him and, like, oh, I'm so in love with him and he's so hot and blah, blah, blah. Get over yourself.
Right.
These victims' families now have to deal with the loss of their loved ones, and you're going to sit here and encourage him to be out or, like, acting like he's some great person. He's not. I don't care if he has the abandonment issues or if he has damage to his frontal lobe. He was aware of what he did at the time. Even if he was in a drug-induced state, you can still do drugs and not kill people. People do it all the time. And then to have no remorse while you're sitting in court or you're on the phone, like that phone call that I watched, I'm sure you can look it up, of him talking to his ex-girlfriend, and he's like laughing the whole time and just like no remorse about killing these women. He's like, yeah, I killed him. I killed those women. And just like laughing about it. And he's like, I was trying to tell you. What do you mean? And they're just like laughing about it. But then people want to sit here and raise $86,000.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Like, get over yourself.
Right. And the fact that he had no reaction to getting the death, like, penalty.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, none at all. He just didn't care.
That's crazy. But you said that they did brain scans and stuff, and, like, it came back fine.
Yeah, that's what I read. Like, they didn't find any damage that would, like, I don't know, lead him to this path, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's the research that I did on this killer, who I think he got the appropriate sentencing.
Yeah, me too.
I think death row takes a long time, unfortunately.
It wasn't a life sentence, right? It was a death penalty.
Right.
Okay.
And then he did some other crimes while he was in jail. Like, there was one from, I believe, 2020 that him and another inmate got charged with. I don't remember the exact charge, but they tried breaking out of prison.
Oh.
There was, like, one of the windows, the frame was removed and there were cracks in the glass. And there was a stool that was bolted to the floor that had been removed. So I think they were hitting the window with the stool. So they were attempting to break out of prison. There was another charge, maybe in 2023, that him and a couple other people got charged with, like, smuggling drugs into the jail. Like, there was a bag that had, like, methamphetamines, some rolled cigarettes, some other stuff. So he has other charges that he has under his belt that he's, like, serving, obviously. Once you get the death penalty and, like, a life sentence, any other charge on top of that, it's like, oh, I'm just staying in jail now. Like, I'm already gonna die, you know? But yeah, he was attempting to get out. which is crazy.
That's nuts. Yeah.
So, like, obviously no remorse even there. Like,
Right.
he's not willing to do the time for the crimes he committed. He shows no remorse for anything. If you were sorry that you killed those women, you would say, oh, I deserve to do jail time. I deserve to be in here.
Yeah.
But he's like, no, I think I gotta get out. I'm gonna get out.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so I don't know how these women are so infatuated with him. Like, sure, maybe he's attractive, you know?
Right.
Fine.
Right.
But what are you doing?
Right.
Like,
it's one thing to sexually fantasize, like, the fake horror people, like Scream and all this stuff, and, like, you know, like, what we did, the
last episode, I think.
Yeah,
Or
last episode or 2 episodes ago, where we were talking about who you would want to kill you and who you'd want to fuck.
Yeah.
But, like, this is a whole different thing.
This
You're
is
talking
real
about
life.
a real person that committed real crimes,
Right.
that killed real people, like parents and loved ones and that kind of stuff, and you're obsessed with him?
Right.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
But, like, that happens a lot with serial killers.
I know.
It happened with, like you said, Ted Bundy. It happened with,
Jeffrey Dahmer?
Yep. It happened with him. It happens with...
Oh, it happened with, what's his name? Hey, Mystery Man, what's that guy's name? Richard Ramirez. What's his name?
The Night Stalker.
The Night Stalker. Yeah, it happened with him too.
Yeah.
So, like, I get finding these men attractive, but, I don't know if it's the fact that they're murderers that people are playing into it more. Like, that's something that you should deal with personally yourself. Get that figured out. Because you deserve better and the victims deserve better than to be on TikTok and see a fan edit of the person that killed their loved ones. Because there's fan edits. Yeah, there's on TikTok, there's fan edits of Wade Wilson.
That's nuts.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. With Ted Bundy, it was crazy because people were showing up to his trial with signs and stuff. Like, the whole time it was going on.
Like, actually petitioning.
Yeah, and, like, getting on the news and being like, oh, but he's, like, so cute. But he's just, like, so charming. And, like, oh, my God, we love Ted Bundy. Like, get over yourself. Grow up, bro.
Right.
It's weird.
So weird. Like, get help.
Yeah. If you don't know who Ted Bundy is, where have you been? Okay, he was a serial killer
There's
forever ago.
a bunch of documentaries about him out
Tons. You can watch any of them. But,
yeah.
I don't know. It's ridiculous. The whole case is disturbing. Like, he just woke up. Well, not even woke up. He took a bunch of drugs and was like, I'm going to kill people today. And then the fact that, like, being on the drugs and murdering the woman that he slept with in her own bed while she was asleep, and then going to see your girlfriend at the time, assaulting her, and then just driving down the street, someone's walking, and you're like, that's my next victim.
Right.
If he wouldn't have been caught, how many more murders would we have?
Exactly.
And because he was caught the next day. They arrested him the next day.
Right.
Just because he called his dad and said, hey, guess what I did?
Right.
But if he wouldn't have called his dad, like, how long would it have taken to figure out that it was him? Would it have been a serial killer instance where he was out killing multiple women all the time?
Right. Even if his dad didn't call the cops.
Yeah.
Like, how long would that have taken?
Yeah. Because, so here's a problem that I see. Like, if you had children and they committed a crime and they told you, would you report it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So would I.
100%, yes.
Yeah, like a serious crime like that, yeah.
Yeah.
If
Like,
you
if
were
my
telling me
kid's
you're
out-
murdering somebody, yeah.
Yeah. If my kid's out killing people and they call me
Yeah.
to brag about it,
Right.
yeah, you're going to jail.
Yeah.
100%.
I just wonder how many parents out there wouldn't. You know?
Yeah.
And so, I don't know. And, like, nowadays, it's like, how do people even think that they can get away with crime?
I don't know.
You know, back in the day, I understand serial killers. It was impossible to figure out who it was. Like the Zodiac Killer. We still aren't even sure who that was.
Yeah, that's a crazy story.
Yeah. And, like, but now there's cameras everywhere. There's so much, like data analysis, like...
There's so much technology.
Yeah.
Like...
To the point of where, like, fingerprinting, they went back and caught how many killers from years and years and years ago. Some of these killers got away with it for 60 years, and the next thing you know, police are knocking on your door saying, guess what? We found your little fingerprints. But now, like, people think that they can get away with murder, and they literally cannot. You can't.
No. Nope. That's crazy.
I know.
crazy. I didn't even realize that there's still, like, I know there's still murderers happening, but not, like, serial killer type.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. That's all the information that I have. That's all the research that I did on this killer. If you guys have any more that you would like us to talk about, let us know. I can do more research on this killer if you're interested, and we can do like a part 2 where I go into more depth and more detail about this, but I just wanted to give you like the brief rundown of what was going on. So that's all the information that I have, and next week,
I will be taking over the storytelling, and I'm going to be covering the Cleveland torso killer.
and it's a shame because like I'm not allowed to look it up, because that's the whole point, is like we tell each other true crime stories that the other one doesn't know, so that you can get like their raw reaction to it. And I want to look it up so bad. I want to read about it. I love true crime. Like I just love like listening to it and reading about it and reading the backstories of these like killers and like why they are this way. My favorite is when I can figure out like if they come out and say, hey, this is why I did this, and I don't know anything about this one, and I want to know all about it.
And that's good.
So you're going to have to really do your research.
I am. I have a week to do my research. But I will be covering the Cleveland torso killer.
So if you want to watch that, tune in next Wednesday, because that's when we'll be talking about that. If you're new here, we are doing these segments for the month of October.
Yep.
Since it's Halloween time.
Yep.
But this was really fun, so it might kind of be...
I kind of liked it.
I'm
going
it.
to be honest. I kind of liked it.
Are we becoming a true crime podcast all of a sudden?
We might.
After
we might.
2.5 months?
Guys, let us know what you think. If you guys like this kind of true crime topic more, since we never really had a topic before, it was just us talking about our lives.
Yeah.
Which we get can be boring.
Yeah, we understand. Trust me. We know.
So if you like the whole topic of a true crime, we can definitely continue to do just that.
Yeah. So let us know, everybody.
Yeah, let us know. And let us know what you thought about this case. Give us more information if you have any. And
do you think that these crazy fans are like actually psychotic and need mental help? Because I do.
I do too. And
let us know.
Also, do you think that I guess the brain scans proved this wrong, but do you think that he could actually be crazy?
Yeah.
Due to like him not showing any signs of remorse. I was going to say neglect, but any signs of remorse for any of it.
Yeah.
So, let us know what you think. But we are going to end it here. We're going to see you on Wednesday. Thank you guys so much for watching and listening to episode 10 of the Dizzy Drama Podcast, with this being our first episode of our new, what's it called?
Dizzy Crime.
No, our new, what's it called?
Segment?
Our new segment of Dizzy Crime. That's Brianna.
And that's Katie. Comment, like, subscribe. Tell your friends about us. We love you so much. And here is our outro. Here it is. Click the circle and click the square to watch our last episode. The circle's to subscribe. Welcome back and goodbye.
Goodbye. Love you. Bye.
Love you. Bye.
We'll see you next
Wednesday.
Wednesday.